There will be times you might need to grab reference of elements rendered by the template. For example, let's have a simple button. Now, how do I get a reference of the actual DOM element? One way to do it is by doing a query selector, and that would work just fine. However, Markup lets you set a special attribute called ref on tags, which takes the name of the reference you want to create. And if I want to access this reference, I can access the refs property in the HTML template instance. I can log it and we can take a look. The refs property is a map key by the name of reference we provided, and the value will be an array of elements. This means I can pass the ref key and grab the first element. As you can see, reference are arrays. This means that if I have an array of templates and render it, let me log the refs instead. Now, if I give all the items the same ref name, I can see that they will all be in the same array. This is pretty nice, and I won't need to perform DOM queries. Back to our code, I want you to notice that even though I set the references in this individual item templates, I was able to grab them from the parent template refs property. This is because all references are bubbled up to their parent most template. I could also grab each template in the array and access the refs property. But the fact that I can just do it from the parent most template makes a huge difference, as it allows the parent template to do something about references in child templates. Another thing you should know about references is that they are only created once the template is rendered in the DOM. This is because when you create a template, Markup does not do anything. It simply grabs the string and injects the values and nothing else. It is when you try to render the template that all the parsing and setup happens. This simple detail means you can use template as first-class citizen and as data. You can create as many templates you want and leave them sitting around until you need them. Another thing to know about references is that references are dynamic. To show you that, I'll create two templates, 1 and 2, and I'll also add the references. I'll conditionally render this, but don't worry about anything I'll do now. We will deep dive into conditional rendering later. If I use a ternary to render this and then check the console, I can see that only one reference is created. This is because only the first template was rendered. Now back to our code, I'll do a dynamic value. Now I can set a set timeout with 2.5 seconds and use a variable to use it in the condition. I'll update val to 2 to swap the condition and call the update method. I will also log the refs again. Now back in the browser, we can see the first template is rendered and the refs only contain one reference. After 2.5 seconds, we see the content was swapped and the new log shows refs object containing both references. Now, why the first reference is still there? All references are collected as rendering happens. And Markup does not know if you will swap the content again, so therefore it keeps the template references in case that happens, so it does not have to perform complex DOM calculations again. If I happen to swap the condition, unless I have a function that is dynamically creating templates, the references will remain the same. Let's actually do that and you will see. Same thing here, 2.5 seconds once and again. Now, if I highlight these references, we can see that they point to the same DOM element because the templates remains the same between condition change. You may be wondering how long these references are kept. The answer is simple, as long as the parent template is rendered. Once the template is unmounted, all things are cleaned up and JavaScript can garbage collect everything. As you can see, Markup references is easy to use and allows you to collect DOM elements without complex queries quickly. Play around and explore this topic for deeper understanding.